Welcome to Tapped In. My name is David Figueroa-Martinez of DFM Coaching, and today I'm discussing strategies for rolling with bigger people or more aggressive people. I recently had a question by a student, and he said, well, how do you handle opponents or training partners that are just more aggressive than you can handle or would like to handle? Do you meet them head on? Are there tricks, or do you just go into defensive mode? So this is a big topic when it comes to students who are on the newer side versus aggressive students, and students that are older against aggressive students. If you're both young, you guys are going to be two bulls just going at it, and the toughest one will win, or the one that gets lucky. When you're smaller, older, and on the newer side, things shift. I can't meet you head on because you're so much more aggressive than I am. Maybe you're bigger. Maybe you're willing to risk certain attributes or risk injury because you don't have certain things in place, like a job or family or things that you are responsible for. You get a 19-year-old who doesn't see what life could be like injured. They don't have that concern. They're 19. You get a 44-year-old, and he understands he has to go to work. She understands she has a job and commitments and things that we need to do, and they don't want to go through health insurance and all this other shit. So it's a different level of concern. When I have these matches, and I have these matches even now as a black belt, so don't think that it gets necessarily easier, because it does, because you're a little bit more skilled, but it doesn't go away. It doesn't not happen. There are times when I'm rolling with someone who, maybe it's a giant blue belt. They know just enough. They're large, so they're hard to move. They're hard to submit because they have so much strength. But they haven't been calmed just yet. I shift the goalpost. My goal for those rounds is often just to survive without an injury. And someone might say, you're a black belt, you should be able to do whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. Not the course. Not the course I'm going. I got to work tomorrow. So my immediate response turns into survival, and I start paying attention to things. I keep my elbows tight. I keep my hands near my collar. I will often roll up into a ball when I need to. I'll keep my legs in play. Nothing gets outstretched. My goal at that moment is to make sure that I do not get injured. My next goal is that he or she does not get injured. My focus turns into a squarely defensive match in which I am paying attention to what they're doing, why they're doing it, how they're doing it, and I look for holes in the offense so that I can turn things around. There are times when I might get an underhook, and that underhook frees me completely. There are times when I don't do anything with grips, because sometimes people grab you a certain way and they yank that grip free, and it hurts your fingers or it hurts your hand, your wrist, or whatever. So I don't typically do grips on the gi. And then I just wait. I fortify my defenses, and I'm looking for a moment where I can off balance. I'm looking for a moment where I can play a guard that keeps me safe. Butterfly, for example. A guard that can keep their weight off of me. Half guard, for example, with a good knee shield. And then I wait for them just to make dumb mistakes. Sometimes it comes early, sometimes it comes late, sometimes it never comes at all. And I'm okay with that. I don't want them to pass the guard. I don't want their weight on me. And I don't want them putting me in situations where I'm being stacked or submitted, where they can yank something. My first thing is safety first. I need to make it out of this round as safe as possible, using the least amount of energy. And if I can get to a dominant position, then I'm taking everything that I can take. And sometimes, like, let's say I hit a sweep on a guy that's much larger than me. I crush them with my weight. Crush the life out of them with my weight. And sometimes they start pushing off with their hands. So I may not go for an arm bar necessarily. I might push the arms past me so I can go back to chest. And I can suck up that space. I can start thinking of maybe some Ezekiel chokes, things that are tight spaced. I don't want any space between us when I'm on top. When I'm on bottom, it's a different story. But when I'm on top, I want to create as much pressure and uncomfortableness as possible. I want them to breathe labored. I want them to have a hard time pulling in air. I want them to have a hard time relaxing. And oftentimes this type of opponent will be pretty hyper from the bottom. And sometimes you can sneak into positions like they start pushing you off and they turn, you take the back, you sink in a choke, or you can take an arm, or you could start doing things simply based off of the movements that they're creating. I don't hunt much. Again, I am strictly defensive in that position. And when I get to top, I do not want to go back to the bottom. I do not. So if I'm going to go for a submission that maybe knocks me off balance and puts me back on the bottom, I am not going for it. I want to play the positions that are higher percentage wins for me. I want to exhaust them, and I want them to hate having me on top as much as I hated having them on top. So I have to choose those battles. I have to understand where it makes sense for me. Okay, I can go for the sub. I can go for this submission. I can go for the sweep. And when it does not, if I think it's low risk, I'm not touching it. If I know this is my A game, I'm going to get this butterfly sweep. Does not matter what they do, then I go for it. But there's times when I might lock in the position, like let's say we have shoulder clamp, butterfly, shoulder clamp, and I just Velcro myself to them, and they might posture up, and they carry me with them. I'm not forcing the sweep at that point. I'm waiting until they get a little tired. Maybe they bring me back down to the mat because they haven't picked me up. They're just on their knees. And then we can start applying off-balancing techniques and attacking that shoulder and maybe sweep them off of that. There's times when I might be on the bottom for 80% of the round, and I'm just defending. And they're breathing hard, and they're pushing the pace, and they're forcing action, and I'm just keeping everything mellow. I have to stay in control. I have to remind myself that this is going to pass. I'm going to have my moment. I do not need to activate my ego. I don't need to push something that's going to be a detriment to me later. And I just accept everything that's going to go on. And that round might go by where I don't do anything offensively. And I'm just stuck on bottom, and the buzzer goes off, and I shake their hand, good job, and I take it as a win for me. Some people younger me may have said I lost the round. And in some degrees, maybe I did, like if we were counting points. But if we're talking about, hey, did you defend really well? Did they submit you? Did they put you in really bad positions? Were you able to escape the positions that they did put you in? Were they able to hurt you? Are you injured? If the answer is no to most of the negatives of that round, then it's a win for me. You're bigger. You should be able to beat me. Black belt, no. Doesn't really matter. You're bigger. You had the confidence to fight at that distance and that pace. So you should win that round. So it's just understanding that I have to choose my battles, move my goalposts to where they need to be. And then I also, a large degree of this is controlling the pace. I can't control how fast he moves sometimes, but I can control how fast I move in response. So there's times when, let's say I have someone who's really big and they're just running back and forth. I hunker everything down, because the problem is when they move and they think they can pass, sometimes they drop their weight, and dropping the weight is where the injuries happen. So I'll hunker down. He gets happy about the pass, but now he's on top, and we're no longer moving at a high speed. At that stage, they usually settle down a little bit. I get to continue to breathe, continue to play defensively. I start searching for those underhooks, frames. I don't allow them to go to mount. I'm okay with side control. I'm okay with bottom of side of half. I don't want them in north-south. I don't want them on my back, and I don't want them in mount. Everywhere else, I'm okay. So that mind shift of saying, I am going to be fine because I'm using my defensive skills I don't care if the submission comes because I'm more worried about the injury. And that allows you to start playing a bit better. You turn off your competitive juices, and maybe you not turn them off, but you turn them down. And you say, I might look bad here, but I'm not getting submitted. He hasn't outstretched my arms. He hasn't isolated a decent grip for a choke. Every time he does, I bridge. Every time he does, I break the grip. Every time he lunges forward, I catch his hands. And those are the little wins. Those are the mind shift of saying, these are going to be my wins for this. These are going to be the things that I'm going to be excited about in this match, because the physicality is so much in their favor. I have to slow things down. Nothing wrong with this. Understand that every round's going to be different. You're going to have those rounds where you get to be super competitive. The guy's similar in age, similar in body type. Those are going to be your super competitive rounds where you get to hit the gas and play your whole game. And then you're going to have these types of rounds where you just have to slow everything down. Understand it's going to suck. It's not going to be fun. But these rounds are actually really good for you. Just don't step out of your safety net with ego. If you have any questions on this or anything else, hit me up, DFM on Instagram and Threads, dfmcoaching.com. If you'd like to join a supportive group, I have a school community, DFM Coaching BJJ. On school, it is completely free for the time being. I share technique, mental approaches. I have some audio courses on there. I think it's going to be a really healthy community. At the moment, it's still growing. Any questions, please let me know. Until next time, thank you.